There's been a lot of great StarCraft happening over in Korea, but that's not the only place in the world where great StarCraft has been taking place. MLG is fast approaching, and they have been playing many a qualifier for their Heart of the Swarm exhibition matches that are going to be taking place in just a couple of weeks. RotterdaM has been following all the action and is going to bring us, well, like Josh does it, up to speed.
Yeah, exactly, Ben. I said already last week that I've been really enjoying the MLG Showdown, sort of the qualifiers for the MLG Dallas Winter Championships. I think they're doing a really good job, so I want to pick a couple of highlights of week number 4, or at least of the first four play days. It started off with MC versus Alive, where Alive started off dropping really aggressively and kind of just took a nice lead. MC tried to counter, but as you guys can see, these force fields are okay, but looking at the supply count, it didn't really matter. Later on, Alive just kept doing what he did before, dropped more, and was able to take game number 1 real quick. I love the defense of MC in game number 3 though, or 2 it was, sorry, against this Cloak Banshee here on Entombed. And this actually turned into a really cool game. Perhaps you should turn the sounds down a little bit, as I hear them louder than I hear myself. This was a really nasty push by Alive, which I think in Wings of Liberty you would die 9 out of 10 times against. This time, however, with Photon Overcharge, MC managed to survive, and eventually later on with double time warps, he was able to catch Alive out of position and take this also important game, bring him back in the series. This was a very nice game because it was far from easy for MC to survive earlier in the game, as we saw, but you could really see what different Heart of the Swarm really makes. Going into game number 4, look at these storms, guys. It's so sick. Alive had a fantastic army and played a really good macro game, but when storms land like this, there's almost nothing that Terran can do, missing a couple of the EMPs. And after this, MC just kind of kept chasing, man. Alive started running, and kind of like they like to do in marathons, he never really stopped running, and he ran all the way to the back of his base. But even there, it was still raining storms, and MC was able to clinch his ticket, so we are going to see the Ball Stars in Dallas. And a good thing for MC is that he's also going to play at the IEM Championships, so he's one of the few players who gets extra practice. Second series was Tasia versus Violet. Here's some moments of game number 2 on Daybreak, which I thought was the coolest game of the series. Some really nice Hydra play together with Vipers. Look at Blinding Cloud being used. For a moment it looked like he was using Blinding Cloud against himself, but and good, all good for Violet, and he was able to win this game. But that was the only game he would win, as Tasia just microed fantastically in the other games. Look at this, guys. Look at that micro. He's picking up those banelings while running and still microing the rest. And because it was so awesome, let's watch it again, but this time in silence.
Siege tank shots going off. Tasia's micro was insane.
Violet trying to hold this plant, going to continue for the classic.
His micro was insane, and Tasia was able to take that series. The next game was Hero versus Polt. Game 1, really nothing happened until they both got a pretty sick army, but Polt just pushed and straight up won. That was it, that was Cloud Kingdom. Game number 2 was more exciting. Polt putting on that oh-so strong multi-prong mid-game aggression. Of course, with those quick medevacs, with the medevac boost, it is so much harder for Protoss to defend. Polt did some damage and was able to just overrun a Hero in the end, which was kind of surprising because I think a lot of people expected more from Hero, but that was a sick arc there by Polt, and he was able to take a really quick 2-0 lead. Game number 3, I think Hero was still thinking about that also awesome game between Aphrodite and Eve, but just like Eve, Hero was not able to pull off the Void Ray all-in. Hero, just because they look cute doesn't mean you should copy their strategies. Couple of forces going down, but of course with Stim ready, yeah, Void Ray all-ins not that amazing anymore. Of course, Void Rays did get a lot better in Heart of the Swarm, but yeah, this wasn't good enough. I'm gonna have to work on that one. The next series, Playdate number 4, was the ZVZ series between Sen and Moonglade, and it was awesome. Both players who often perform really well but never really win big championships. Game number 2, I believe, on Ohana turned into a real base trade, where Sen just kind of went all out with Roaches, Hydras, but a couple of Mudas counterattacked, and eventually it came down to this minor engagement where a couple of Fungals land, one more Fangle lands on all the Banelings, but it just didn't really matter as the Hydras did die, and with the Hydras, Sen's hope died of winning this game, so Moonglade evened up the series. The next game showed us that ZVZ can still kind of be played like in Wings of Liberty. Lots of Infestors and lots of Infested Terrans as well. Both players just macroing up for quite a while, but eventually the player with more Infestors, just like we've seen for quite a while in Wings of Liberty, does still win, even in Heart of the Swarm. It was a cool game though, entertaining, but eventually Sen was able to win it. No, try to commentate it. Yeah, you can see it. They're attacking each other. That's exactly what Exotas said. And Incotor actually describes ZVZ in a fantastic manner at State of the Game. If you haven't seen it yet, you should totally check it out. But Moonglade did have more mutas, so eventually he was able to push Sen back. And he was going to even up this series, make it 2-2 each. So it was all going to come down to this deciding game number 5. And unfortunately, it was a little bit anticlimactic as he let this hard 3 finish. But letting it finish also meant that it was going to die against the Speedlinks. And then eventually, as Jeff said, one player was going to have a few more Mutalisks. And yes, he did have one Spore Crawler, but it didn't really matter. Sen was able to take this series at playday number 4 in week number 4 of the MLG Showdowns, which means that we are going to see Sen in Dallas as well, something I'm super excited about since Sen always performs so well. I still think that Moonglade deserves a big shout out because he really put up a fantastic fight against Sen and he really pushed him to his limits. Unfortunately for Moonglade, he was not going to be able to make it this time to a foreign event, but I'm sure we're going to see more of him in the future as he's just the best player that Southeast Asia really has, if you do not include Sen, at least looking at the Australian region. So I thought it was a lot of fun. That was not all the actions. There was a game on playday number 5 as well. Unfortunately, that one didn't happen. It was Grubby against Dimaga. Dimaga took the series 3-2, but Dimaga wasn't able to make it to Dallas, so they kind of played like a mini bracket with all the guys who lost so far. And Millennium Feast was able to win that one, so congratulations to Feast. We are going to see him. And last but not least, yesterday, that is the mini bracket, I believe. Yes, we see Feast taking out Grubby in the last round. Grubby did defeat Titan before. Lots of PvPs, by the way. It was kind of fun. Unfortunately, the games were not all that exciting. Lots of Dark Templar action. And I think people still kind of have to find safe ways to play PvP in Heart of the Swarm. And last but not least, yesterday we saw Millennium Ghost user take out Light, or Caliber Light. I'm not sure if he doesn't represent Light anymore, at least Caliber with a 3-2 series. So that was very close, but congratulations to Ghost user as well. And that was pretty much it, what happened in week number 4. Here we can take a look at all the results once more. But yeah, I've been really enjoying the games. If you guys haven't been checking it out, you should definitely do it. MLG is doing a really, really good job. And also the after show is really fun with XLEF. And I think certainly for people who really want to improve their play, Rules of Engagement is a fantastic show.
Yeah, XLab does a wonderful job, and MLG doing a great job showcasing some of those Heart of the Swarm games. There are still a few games to be played. I think, does Greg play later today?
Yeah, Greg plays against Minigun today, and we're going to have lots of North Americans clashing in the next week, which is going to be the final week of the MLG Showdowns. So as soon as the next week is done, we know the entire bracket of the MLG Dallas. And
that's right.
It's already a sick bracket. Doesn't really matter who qualifies, because there are so many amazing matches in round number 1.
One of the players that will be playing next week is 16-year-old Terran superstar Chris Illusion Lee. RotterdaM went out to Vegas a couple of weeks ago to spend some time with Chris and put together this profile. Check out this highlight of the young gun.
I've been playing games starting from Nintendo 64 to Starcraft II. My name is Chris Lee, also known as Illusion, one of America's Starcraft players. I was born in Virginia and raised there. When I was younger, I played a lot of games, and eventually I got into Counter-Strike, and I wanted to go competitive, but I didn't know how to do it. Eventually, I found StarCraft, and I put in a lot of time into it. I got competitive. At first, I was just a normal gamer, like every one of my other friends, just like playing some games casually, or some of my friends play more intensely, but they're not into competitiveness like I am. So eventually, once I got into it competitively, I started making more money. Making $1,000 per event, I think it's still pretty good for a 16-year-old. As I started to make more money, I became more reckless. I go out to movies with my friends, I'll pay for them, I'll pay for dinner. Occasionally, I'll put in for my family, I'll pay for groceries or anything like that just to help my family. But in the end, I think I could have done some different things with my money. To be where I am right now, I sacrificed a lot of time, mostly back at home with my family, friends, and eventually I had to get out of school. Well, I don't think it was a choice I had to make, but for me personally, I think it was the best choice, and I couldn't be happier where I am right now. My first tournament where I realized I could get good at the game and try and pursue it professionally was MLG Providence in 2011. It wasn't the first tournament I attended, but it was the first tournament where I had pretty good results, and ever since then I've been thinking about moving forward in my career. Pro gaming has made a pretty big impact on my life. I've traveled to places that I probably never would have thought of traveling to, such as Brazil. So there's definitely things I probably would not have done if I didn't go into pro gaming. There's a lot of things that I probably would do differently. I could have practiced more, I could have put in more effort, could have gotten better results. But I think this is just something that every pro gamer has in the back of their head. Like, I could have done better, I could have succeeded better, I could have done better. I know I can do this, I know I can do that. So in the end, yeah, I definitely could have put in more effort and more time. But the way I am right now, I'm pretty satisfied. I've met a lot of great people for esports, and I don't think I would have met the type of people I met for esports if I was still in school. I would still be in school just hanging out with friends around my age. I've met a lot of people that are much older than me because I'm one of the younger people in esports, and I think because I met a lot of people that are older than me, I got a bit wiser with everything in life, and I don't think there's anything that could have changed my life the way they have. I'm pretty excited for RotterdaM. I haven't been playing it as much, but I've heard great things. The game is more fun. That's something I'm looking forward to because when I first started off with Wings Liberty, I thought the game was really fun. That's how I motivated myself to play. But as soon as the fun died out, everything started getting stale. I find it harder and harder to practice because there's nothing new, there's nothing innovative you can do anymore in Wings Liberty, at least in my opinion. So I think with the release of RotterdaM, the new units, there'll be different types of play, different compositions, and everything will be different. It should make practicing a lot easier, looking at pro replays and playing from where they left off. My goal in RotterdaM is to at least win one major tournament during the first few months. If I can't do that, it's just to get placings that will get you notable, like the Koreans do. With RotterdaM coming out, I'm hoping that a lot more people will look into the game and attract more viewership. I like to thank my family. I don't really say it in interviews, but I really love what they've done for me and supporting me. My friends back at home have been showing me a lot of support, and I've been hanging out with them. And it seems like even though I left school, it doesn't feel like I lost my friends at all. For 2013, I signed with MLG. I'm super excited for the future, and I'm looking forward to representing them at every single tournament I can attend. And all my new members seem very welcoming, and I don't think I'm going to regret this decision. My name is Chris Lee. I'm 16 years old, also known as Illusion. For me right now, I'm far from done with StarCraft, and I hope you guys follow me in the future.
Look at Chris balling it up in Vegas. He's like 16 years old. He can't even do anything in Vegas.
You can throw $100 bills into
water
into
fountains.
man.
Well, good luck, Chris, next week when you play in your MLG qualifiers. MLG is just around the corner, and we already know there are going to be a ton of incredibly exciting first-round matches, which does beg a question. Lauren Lees.
This is our second question of the day. Which first round MLG match are you looking forward to the most? Paul versus Creator, MC versus Hero, Tasia versus Chae, or are you looking forward to somebody else? Vote A, B, C, or D in chat right now during this commercial break.
Hey guys, I'm Illusion and you're watching The Pulse.